Hey everybody, this is another Get Stuff Done video, and today I want to talk about the power of networking. Networking is something that for myself has brought a lot of happiness, a lot of new opportunities, has made getting a job a lot easier, and has generally helped me to learn more about myself and about others. And that's why I believe networking is a very, very powerful tool that everybody, no matter their background, should develop, and at the very least as a professional, do some on a regular basis. So let's talk about why networking is so important for you as a professional. Essentially, as you progress in your career, the network that you have can provide a value to you in any given moment, in any given situation. When someone approaches you and says, do you know somebody who does XYZ? Now, this could be internally, it could be externally, it could be in a personal or professional basis. But if you're able to say, yes, I do, you can help that person. So at the most simple basic level, it's a great way to be able to help people. Now, you might say, people don't ask me these kind of questions all the time, and that's fine. So the next reason that I think that networking is powerful is much more about you. When you come to progress through your career, we all know that there is no such thing as a job for life anymore. It's inevitable that you will want to apply to work at a company or look to join some kind of organization or create something of your own by way of some kind of project. In any of these scenarios, knowing somebody in that field can be immensely valuable to help you absorb, gain, and learn knowledge, gain knowledge from them, ask questions, get to know the background, and be able to prepare yourself to enter into that particular area. You can't get every single piece of information about what you're going to do or the organization you want to join, but you can maybe get an insider's view of what it's really like compared to the reviews that you read online. It could be somebody who is already in that field, who has already gone through that particular process of setting up a company in that particular area, or joining that company as a certain type of professional. Whatever it might be, you can interact with people in that field and learn their own personal experiences. You will expedite and accelerate your access and process into that. It's very hard to go into something blind without knowing any of the background. And if you can access people who already have that experience, that's impossible to Google, impossible to find out from any textbook or anywhere else. You can only find out those unwritten background scenarios and things that have happened to them along the way by talking to someone. And that is by having a network. Now, you might not have every single person that you need for that in your direct network. And that is the beauty of having a broad network. Think of it like a spider's web. You are at the middle of this network and you have your direct network. You then have your second degree and third degree and fourth degree and so on and so forth. It's almost exponential. You have a few hundred or thousand connections. They each have their own few hundred or thousand connections. So you can very easily see how your network becomes massive and global. And that is where you can access the value of your network, not just by knowing who you have in your direct first degree of connections, the ones around you, your colleagues, peers, friends, alumni, etc., but the network of those different areas of your network that you have. And so by asking them, they can get you to the person with the most experience, the most relevant depth of knowledge in that area, or simply the answers to your questions. And that amount of knowledge and experience we don't know the true value of, because it is so much greater than what you know from your existing and known network. The next most important thing is that a network can be big, but it might not be active or valuable. You might have dozens of connections in a particular area which are not helpful for you, So it has to be relevant. It also has to be active. So let's talk about the different factors. So is it inactive or inactive? Is it relevant or not? And how big is it? Are the three most important factors of your network. Let's first talk about size. You need to have the largest possible network that you can that is going to be helpful for you. So it's difficult to build a big network quickly. It takes time. And so I suggest if you have a very small network currently, that you immediately start to build it. How do I go about building a bigger network? You need to meet people, you need to connect with people, and you need to build relationships. So this can, of course, can be done online and offline. It can be first started perhaps within your own organization. If you're working in a company right now, but you don't have any interaction with anybody beyond your team, start with that network. You have a commonality of the place that you work that is immediately easy to talk and interact with them. I used to, in my former company, used to be a member of the bowling club. That was a group of people from all across the company who I would otherwise never have met. I was interested in bowling, absolutely, but it was the biggest value I got from that was meeting people from outside of my network who I otherwise wouldn't have. And that was very interesting and valuable to me. The second point is the relevancy. And that's where your network has to be relevant to you in order to be useful. It's no use if you are a nuclear scientist having dozens of fashion people in your network if you don't have any desire to go into the fashion industry. So having relevancy to you is also important. If you feel that it is not matching currently, start transitioning and building into the area that you want to in order that it can be as relevant as possible. And the third most important factor within network is keeping it active. You might have lots of connections in the right place, but if they're not active, you're not going to be able to use them. It's difficult to approach someone who you haven't talked to for 10 years. If you had an extremely close relationship 10 years ago, then yeah, maybe it's possible. But if you don't proactively keep that active network going by continuously reaching out to people, maybe sending them a birthday greetings. That's one example that an executive was telling me was a really good way that she kept in touch with her entire organization, was just on a weekly basis sending out birthday greetings to people to wish them happy birthday on that particular day. It's personalized, it doesn't take long, and it can help to build network. I, of course, am a big user of LinkedIn. I use that to send out messages to people, to connect with them, to say hello, how are you doing, what's new, what's going on. If it's related to some news update, that's even better. And I use that when people update their statuses and when they get a new job, transition, or move country. In Korea, we use KakaoTalk more than WhatsApp, and KakaoTalk has a status. It also tells you birthdays for people who want their birthday to be known, so that's a good way of keeping in touch with people. Another great technique I heard was set a time each week to reconnect with someone important to you. And so the example was 3 p.m. on a Friday, 10 minutes to send one email to somebody you've not talked to this year. And I think that's a great way to build active network with your existing network, to keep it active. You know, you're going to be approaching 52 people a year who you otherwise wouldn't have, and maybe some years will pass by and then it's difficult to get back in touch with them. Maybe their contact details change. Another great way, of course, is coming back around to keeping all of those three in one place is to use LinkedIn. With the high use of business cards in Korea, a lot of people use the app which is called Remember, because you can enter the business card in and it will automatically connect with that person. That's a great catalog. It's kind of like a digital Rolodex from the olden days. But I find LinkedIn is even better. It's even more rich to connect the person's profile and network and their activities. So if you actively update your LinkedIn, you will be keeping up to date with others because you'll be sending out messages about what you're doing. They'll be able to connect back with you, see what your latest news is, and that's a good way to do it in a somewhat passive way. You are putting out your updates and waiting for others to be actively responding to you, but I think go next stage and be even proactive with that. So that's, I think, a short summary of networking. I haven't even got into how to go about, approaching someone and networking with that person to build a relationship. I think that's something that we can look at in another video. But for now, the importance of building network for you as a professional to get the help that you need to help build the career opportunities in the future, and to be able to gain the knowledge and hidden information that you wouldn't otherwise be able to access is incredibly important. And that's why I believe in the power of networking. Thanks for watching this video, and see you in the next one soon.